Hello and welcome to the SharePoint Framework and JavaScript Special Interest Group Biweekly Sync. It is July 1st, if you can believe it or not, but it is July 1st. So I'm your host, Patrick Rodgers, on the call. And as always, we've got a great agenda for you today. We're going to have our updates around SharePoint Framework. Those are going to be pretty minimal today. Vesa is on a much deserved and needed vacation, so I hope he is out having a lot of fun. And then we're going to have the patterns and practices updates across the program, new community samples. We'll do our optional picture time for folks that are interested. And we got 3 great demos from Vardamon, Anoop, and Andre. So bringing your custom apps to Viva Connect mobile experience. That's going to be a really big topic, I think, in the next 6 months for everybody is Viva Connect and getting up to speed on that. So excited to see those demos starting to come in. Copying PnP Search result web part settings, and then following documents in Modern Workspace with SPFx. 3 great demos as always, and without any further ado, let's get started. So opportunities to participate in the PnP program. Lots of great chances to participate, and we encourage all of you who are interested to participate, or if you have ways we haven't thought of to participate, please let us know. But my favorite way is to get folks doing demos on these calls. We've got a bunch of different calls and a lot of opportunities for a lot of different kind of demos. So this call, any of your at PnP demos or SPFx demos or client-side development demos, love to see those. I learn something every other week on these calls. Love to learn from everybody, see the great demos. So if you're doing something and you would like to share it, please reach out to myself or Vesa, and we'll get you scheduled on an upcoming call. You can also contribute on GitHub. That could take the form of reporting issues, submitting pull requests, or helping others with issues they may have opened or questions they might have. All of those are really great, and all of our at PnP offerings absolutely encourage and welcome your pull requests and as well as your issues. So if you're having any trouble, please do report an issue. We don't love that there are issues, but we love to hear about them so that we can get them fixed, and that really helps unblock everybody. So if you are having trouble, don't suffer in silence. Let us know, and we'll do our best to assist. As well, you can always provide feedback. How are the calls? How's the documentation? Where else can we help? And positive feedback is okay too, because if you really like something we're doing, we can look at doing a little bit more of it. Next up is our giant page O links. So we've got a bunch of different content for you. The developer videos are focused largely on developer scenarios. So there'll be specific videos around, say, authentication or getting started with SPFx, or how to use PnP PowerShell, things like that. So developer-focused videos. We've got community videos, which are going to be largely the recordings from this and other community calls. So if you happen to miss a week, you could always catch up on the recordings, and those are there in the YouTube. And then open source, we've got a bunch of repositories or organizations, all of which are open for business in the sense of welcoming your contributions and feedback. So that's SharePoint, PnP, Office Dev, and Microsoft Graph are all really looking to get your involvement and get your feedback and help you drive the direction that these things are going in. So really encourage you to get involved in one or more of those places as you're interested in them. And then sample galleries, tons of great samples, team samples, SPFx web parts, Power Platform samples, SPFx extensions, and then list formatting. Hugo will go over a little bit later our new samples that have come in recently or been updated. And this has been a great project and is really a valuable resource for folks getting started developing on any of these things, or even experienced folks. If you are starting a project, it's great to look up and see how maybe other people have solved that problem and get some ideas from what others have done. So a really valuable resource there for the community, and encourage you to check those out. And of course, that was a lot of links, so you can always just remember ak.ms/m365pnp, and that is our Patterns and Practices program landing page, and that will get you information on the entire program, as well as links back out to all of the content that I have just mentioned, as well as more. So ak.ms/m365pnp, very much encourage you to check that out, and that will have all the info you need. We are sort of changing things up a little bit during the summer break. Some calls are taking a break. Other calls are continuing. These Thursday calls, so both this call and the general dev special interest group call, like, for example, next Thursday, will continue throughout the summer. But all of our other calls are taking a summer holiday, so those are going to be off. And then when we come back in August, we'll have a slightly different schedule. Don't worry too much about tracking it now. We'll have new invites, and we'll be making sure everybody is aware of what the call schedules are and how to attend the calls and all that information. So don't worry too much right now about the particulars. Just know we are going to have a little bit of a revamped and hopefully a little bit more accessible and easier schedule for folks, so they aren't or they are able to attend more calls and the calls they want to attend, and we avoid some of the overlap and maybe some of the call fatigue. So excited to get that going. That'll be in August. So this call and the general dev SIG call, no changes throughout the summer. Those will continue. And then next up is David with sharing his caring updates.
Thank you, Patrick. Well, everyone, as you can see, there are a ton of resources available to you, and as you will continue to see through this call, available to you to contribute back to. But we understand that there are some hurdles that may be limiting your ability to, or desire, or options for you to contribute back. So the Sharing is Caring program is an opportunity for you to get hands-on interactive guidance on how you could do things like contribute via GitHub, even if it's unfamiliar or brand new to you, how you can start getting set up as a presenter or getting more involved in the development samples that are available to you. These are hands-on, live, safe space, inclusive opportunities. We don't record them. They are absolutely free, and they're scheduled all throughout the month for you to be able to join and learn how to do these things. We'll walk you through it as a group, and you'll be able to collaborate with those in the community. Now, we're a little lighter schedule for July. We have scheduled out for July and August, so plenty of time for you to register and get that on your calendar. We also have a Teams Development AMA, which has been some of the more popular events, coming up on July 13th. So please don't hesitate to join any of these sessions. We'd love to have you, aka.ms/sharingiscaring. Now, once you have actually contributed, we are excited to celebrate you in a brand new way using the recognition program. So this is a program that is powered by Credly. You get the wink from Parker even, and we will be able to identify and provide you badging opportunities, digital badging opportunities. They will sit right next to your Microsoft certification badges within the Credly program and on the platform. So a lot of opportunity. This is just the beginning. This is going to come out with new badges, new campaigns, some really fun limited edition badges for doing multiple things throughout the year, some holiday and winter related badges. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We really hope everyone's going to enjoy it, and we are looking forward to formally recognizing your contributions that you can share on Twitter and GitHub. And so please don't hesitate to register. We need you to opt in so that we can connect your contributions to your profile, aka.ms/M365PnP-recognition. Patrick, back to you.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, David, for that. And really excited to see the recognition program get started, and as well the Sharing is Caring to continue. So really encourage you, if you're looking to get started or want a place to ask some questions, the Sharing is Caring really is just an amazing community effort, and do please check that out. I've gotten or heard just amazing feedback on Twitter and other places from folks that have done that program or participated in those sessions, and it's been outstanding. So thank you to everybody who's putting that on, and also to everyone that has attended. It really makes it work and is a great resource for folks. Next up is a short update just on the Viva Connections private preview. So anybody is welcome to join this. This is aka.ms/viva/connection/preview/register. Which, really just abusing the slashes there. But this is a great way to get involved in an early look at what Viva Connections development is going to be. It's very similar to the SharePoint framework model. It's based on SharePoint framework in a lot of ways, but there's some important differences. So it's a great way to check that out, get involved. Also check out the recording from, I want to say, 2 or 4 weeks ago, where Luca was here and did Luca and John were both here and did a great session on connections dev coming up. Maybe perhaps somebody can link that episode, because I don't have that handy. But you are welcome. Absolutely check out the Viva Connections preview. It's a really exciting thing, and I encourage you, to check that out if you're interested. And look forward to all the great solutions and samples that are going to come out of everybody getting into the Viva Connections work. Next up, PnPjs client-side updates with Julie.
Hey, thanks, Patrick. So we have a 2.7 release scheduled for July 9th. I when I updated this earlier, there were no updates in progress, but we did get a pull request just in earlier today for implementing the search parameter in graphs. So we will be taking a quick look at that. Hopefully we can get that in for July 9th. And then also V3, we've been spending a lot of time on V3 trying to get us into a beta version of that so that other people can start testing it out. Hard at work, and if you have any interest in checking out what's planned for V3, check out issue 1636, which is an overview of our V3 plans and links off to other sub-discussions about things that we're looking to update and change for V3. So if you are interested in that, please do take a look. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, M365 PnPjs, and direct any feedback you have at all, questions, comments, applause. We certainly will take any of it. Bugs certainly into our issues list at the pnp.github.io PnPjs. And that is all I had. Thanks, Patrick.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie, for that update. Excited to see all the progress there. And as Julie mentioned, if you're interested in helping out with V3, please just let us know. And we're kind of at a point where we're ready to start getting some more folks involved. Updates on the CLI for Microsoft 365. A new beta 3.11 is out with the ability to generate SPFx packages for HTML snippets, SPFx Doctor extended to support SPFx 112.1, updating Azure AD app registrations, deleting app roles, and updating SharePoint site descriptions. You can always try out the latest beta at npm install-g at pnp/cli-microsoft 365 at next, or the Docker command there. And you can try a preview of the upcoming version 4 is now available. And you can see the npm install command there is the same, except it is at 4, F-O-U-R, to check out what's coming with V4. So excited to see that work going on. And really, this has been a fantastic success in terms of so many folks that contributed to the CLI. It's really been exciting to see that. I encourage you to check it out. The reusable controls, we have two different sets of controls. They're the React controls and the React property controls. The React controls are designed to be used in the body of your web parts or application customizers to display information, styled with the Office UI fabric to give you a great out-of-the-box look. And then the React property controls are designed to be used in the edit pane of your SharePoint framework web parts and provide you an out-of-the-box appearing edit experience and allowing you a lot of flexibility to build those experiences and build editing and visualization experiences for your users without a lot of work you have to do all on your own. Current versions there are 2.8. Remember, the 2.x branch is for SPFx 1.11 and below, and then 3.2.1 and the 3.x branch is for SPFx 1.12.1 and likely above. And then the property controls, the 2x branch again, 1.11 and below, and the 3.x branch, 1.12.1 and above. I want to thank again all the contributors here, tons of fantastic contributors for the folks building these, and it's been great to see this continue to grow alongside everything else as well. So another very valuable resource, and encourage you to use this in your projects, as it's a great way to save a ton of time and get a lot of functionality without having to write that all yourself. And the community yeoman generator. This is the PnP SPFx generator based on the quote-unquote official Microsoft SPFx generator. So you're getting a real SPFx project, but with a bunch of additional options during setup. So you can use different frameworks. You can use different other external libraries, such as PnPjs automatically as part of the setup. It's really fantastic to see the work done here and how this allows teams a lot more flexibility on top of the out-of-the-box generator to scaffold their projects the way they would like to, or include some things that aren't part of the default setup. So the current version 1.16 is out, in progress, on the way to 1.17, is upgrading to SPFx 1.12, dropping IE11 support. You're going to see more and more of that across the PnP offerings, Angular 12 support, and then updating, just dependency updates. So looking forward to 1.17, but definitely check out 1.16, which is available now. And with that, we'll move up to updates on Modern Search. Sorry. And aka.ms/pnp-search. This gives you access to all the documentation information you need to build flexible modern search experiences for your users using a set of web parts. The July versions are underway with a bunch of fixes, optimizing bundle sizes, and some other additional scenario documentation. So very excited to see that. The version 4.2.3 is the current version. You can see the list of things there. And then 3.20.0 is the 3.x branch latest version. It still has some fixes and things there. But if you can, encourage you to upgrade to the 4.x branch. A lot of great work and a lot of the forward-looking work is happening there. And the 3.x branch, as I understand it, is in more of a maintenance mode at this point. So not going to get a lot of new features. So new features, check out the 4.x branch. A lot of great capabilities there. A lot of great reviews on using these web parts. So I encourage you to check those out. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Hugo for the SPFx samples.
Thanks, Patrick. So we have two GitHub repositories that are maintained by the community, and they contain samples around SPFx web parts and SPFx extensions. And everyone's welcome to contribute. And they range from concepts to how to use a control to full solutions and utilities. We welcome contributions from everyone, but these are the contributions for the last 2 weeks. On the SPFx extension side, sadly, we don't have any new updates. But on the web part side, we have a few updates. First, the birthdays web part, which is an awesome web part that shows everyone's birthdays and anniversaries. Sajal Mighty updated the web part to SPFx 1.12.1. The follow documents web part, which is actually has a brother or sister web part, not web part, extension, and Andre will be demoing that today. So I'll let him talk about it, but it's an awesome solution. Abderrahman Mujahid updated the calendar web part with an overlap that we were having with the year view and the comment section by adding a vertical scroll bar. And finally, Daipan Shah updated the quick poll web part, which was an older web part. Now we've fixed a bug when displaying results for a particular user. Again, we welcome everyone to contribute. These web parts are managed by and contributed by the community. They are not supported by Microsoft, but we do verify all the web parts. So we do run through automatic testing for security exploits and things like that. But that being said, make sure if you choose to use these web parts in your environment, it is absolutely your responsibility to make sure that these web parts adhere to your organization's security requirements and things like that. And that's just a direct answer to a conversation in the chat river. That's it for me. Back to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Hugo. And really excited to see all these samples continue to get built out, improved, and added to. It's really fantastic, the work by everybody there. And Hugo, thank you for kind of coordinating and shepherding those samples through. It's a really fantastic resource for the community, and very excited to see just all of that continue to grow and become even more valuable. So now we'll go to the optional picture time. David, are you able to take the optional picture time?
I just so happen to have Camtasia open. Let me
fantastic.
Share my screen here so everyone can kind of see themselves.
I'll even turn my camera on for the
chat.
I'll be part of it this time.
All right, got a few more spots. Bill has got that shocked look on his face. Good to see you. All right, we'll give it just a second for everybody to fill in. We got a little mini-me there that Patrick is pointing out, I guess. All right.
Is that it? That's a sheet.
Some sort of state going on up there. All right, let's get some waving going on, everybody. Say hello. All right, excellent. Thanks. Patrick, back to you.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That is becoming a very silly thing we do, and I love it. So with the demos, I'm not going to reshare the screen, but Vardamon, if you're ready to take over, I believe you are up next, and we'll get started with our demos.
Yes. I hope you're able to hear me, and I will share my screen. All right. So Hi, everyone. My name is Vardhaman Deshpande. I'm a Microsoft MVP, and currently I'm working with Valo as a technical product owner. This is my Twitter profile. Feel free to follow me, or just instead of an introduction slide, which David kind of told me you need to have, I just thought I'll kind of kill two birds with one stone and put my Twitter profile in the first slide, as you might call it. So today we're going to talk about Viva Connections and how to bring your custom apps into Viva Connections mobile experience and the desktop experience. So before we actually go ahead with this, there was a slide earlier in Patrick's presentation which allowed you to register for the, I don't know if it's a private preview because it's not private, but it's a preview. And to get the connect dashboards and everything else enabled on your tenant, you need to register yourself so that your tenant gets enabled with the properties of Viva Connections dashboard. So what is Viva Connections basically? So in my head, it's a mobile first experience. It's going to be a Teams mobile first experience. There will be a Viva Connections app, Teams app, which will be released, I think, in the future at some point, maybe sooner or later. Which will be a Teams app which you can install in your Teams environments. And when the users go to that Teams app, either in mobile experiences or in desktop or web, they will be able to see different things like SharePoint resources, things like your custom applications. So here we have a sample preview of how the Connections app would look in your phone when it gets released. And then the particular thing we'll talk about is how do you bring the custom applications, Teams applications, which you already have developed into Viva Connections. So so this is a sample because we don't have the mobile app released yet. We are working with the preview to kind of see how this looks in the desktop experience. As you can see, there will be a custom app for Viva Connections. You can rebrand it. You can call it something which suits your organization, and you can have custom cards on the desktop. So there will be few out-of-the-box cards available. There will be few cards which you can build yourself. And today we'll talk about one of those things, which is, say you have developed an application, how do you bring your application to Viva Connections? So just to give you a quick background on what the application is, it's a Valo's app called Valo Ideas. It's an innovation app. It's a app which allows you to innovate within the context of Teams. There's many components to it. There's a personal app. There's a Teams tab. And there's adaptive cards posted to the Teams conversation as well. Now, the basic idea behind it is that any Teams member can, within the context of their team, they can suggest an idea, discuss the idea within Teams, and so on. But I won't get into the details because what the app is of less concern here. Just to kind of build like a platform of where we will land from Viva Connections. Once you go into the tab, you can click on any of the ideas, and then a more details dialog kind of pops up where you can see certain metadata about the idea. You can watch the description, image, and you have certain actions and stuff. So this is the details view. Now, why is this important? It's important because whenever we are in the context of Viva Connections, in my head when I was playing around with this, this won't be your one place to interact with all the applications. This will be where you surface a subset of your applications. So things like you can see here now, we are only showing like the top 3 of ideas. Say you have got an incident response system or any of this. So that whole system is not expected to be shown up here. Here, it's almost like a preview or a teaser of your application. So in this case, it's just the top 3 ideas which you can see. And this will be configurable by audiences. So it's not that all the users in your organization will see the same data. Different users based on Azure AD groups can see different data. So when it comes to the actual adaptive card extension, this is a custom extensions which we have built through the preview program, and there's some out-of-the-box cards available already. So things like tasks in your teams, this is a SharePoint page and links and so on. So when we so there's three different levels to these adaptive card extensions, or ACEs as they are called. The first one is the actual card view itself. So when you land in the Viva Connections dashboard from the mobile or from your desktop, doesn't matter. The first view you see is called the adaptive card extension and the card view. What you can have multiple items in the, as in you can switch the card view to show multiple items. When you have when you click on one of the card views, then you get to see a bit more details on what you can show. Now, the card view is not super customizable. The card view only has 3 different options right now. One is image and text. One is just text, and one is, I think, text and a description. So you don't have super flexibility and super control of how the card view looks. But when you click on it, then this is a proper adaptive card. Things like all the stuff which is supported in adaptive cards is supported in the quick view. This is called something as, so things like, images, different metadata, carousels and lists and so on is supported in the quick view, as it calls. Now, the third level is actually sending the user to your custom application. Now, how would that work? You have a button here. When you click on it, directly you can build a deep link into Teams. When you click on it, you can see that I'm thrown into the Teams tab, and immediately the details dialog opens up. And that's how I can actually build my experience. Now again, like going back to other types of applications, there's going to be 3 levels. One is the card view, one is the quick view with the slightly more details on your adaptive cards or your items, and then the third one being you actually get to build a deep link which can send you to your applications in its entirety. Now, how do you actually, so that's the demo part. How do you actually build this? Now, as Patrick mentioned, it's basically a new SPFx artifact or SPFx application type. And you'll be familiar with this if you're a SharePoint developer, SPFx developer. You'll be familiar with this code structure. Just like in the SPFx human generator, you have the different options of web part, extension, and library. There'll be a new extension type called adaptive card extension. And there's again, as we discussed, 3 levels to this. First one is the actual adaptive card extension .ts file, just like your web part .ts file. And this is the main starting point of your application. And even in that, the onInit method is kind of like the core of how the application will be viewed. And there's 2 things which we need to look out for. One is that it's actually returns a promise. So that means we have to use this method to get any data. So in this case, we are using it to actually get the ideas from our database. And then the more important thing is all the rest of the views which your adaptive card extension will need to be registered in the ACE or in the onInit method. Now you can see, as we talked about, there's 2 views registered here. One is the card view and one is the quick view. Let's jump to the card view here. And the card view is basically this view which we see. So and as I said, again, it's not super flexible. There's predefined templates to the card view, which we can possibly see here. So this is currently the base image card view, which we are inheriting, and the data which was sent to this card view gets rendered. You have the next and the previous buttons and so on. And you have a method here called onCardSelection, which then you can use to trigger your quick view. And then going back again, this is your quick view. And as I said, this is like a full-blown adaptive card. And how do you configure that adaptive card is right in the code itself here. You can also save your adaptive card as a file and then show it here. It supports your data binding and everything and so on. And finally, in the quick view, there's going to be an external link method which you can use to create your deep link to a Teams application. And then that's how when you click on one of the cards, you get thrown into a deep link into Teams without changing the context. Now, this demo would have worked a lot better if the Teams app was available, and then you could see that within the mobile context itself, you can bring up that adaptive card, and if you click on it, it opens up your Teams app in your phone and creates a deep link within the Teams app itself. But right now, we'll have to kind of put some of the pressure on our imagination and do the linking ourselves. So that's a quick tour of how you can build, how you can bring your custom applications into Viva Connections, the desktop and the mobile experience. Again, I would say that register for the preview. You'll get it enabled on your tenant, dev tenants, and you can start developing applications on this. So yeah, that's it from my side. Patrick, over to you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Vardamon. I'm really excited to see this demo, and I think as others get involved, we'll have a few more demos. And the ACEs stuff, the card stuff, is new, so I think there's a lot of room to explore that and see really what's capable there, and especially with the adaptive card approach to stuff. I'm really excited. I think it's been a lot of fun. I've been playing with it recently. A lot of great new possibilities there, and leveraging a lot of your existing SPFx skills as well. So really worthwhile to check out that preview if you can. Noop, you are up next if you want to go ahead and take over the presentation.
Thank you, Patrick. This demo is about copying PnP Search results web part settings. Just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Anup Thati. I am a SharePoint developer at Content and Cloud based in London. So I write some blogs on SPFx related things under the platform called Medium. And then that's the link to my blog, anup.medium.com. I'm on Twitter as well under the username Anup Tells, and my GitHub username is Anup T. So you can follow me on those platforms if needed. So what we'll do is we'll do a demo first, and then have a look at the code of this particular extension. So for this demo, what I'll do is I'll quickly establish a scenario and then tell you what it is all about. So what I have got here is a page in my dev tenant, and this page, if I just quickly edit it, you can see it has got a PnP Search results web part and a page properties web part. All this does is it is rolling up some of the pages based off a certain content type and then displaying it over here. Now, what I've also done is I've created a few other pages as well based off this template, with a similar format. One is called All About Parker, again, a PnP Search web part and then page properties. And then there's one called All About Giraffe or Graph, which has, again, a search web part and page properties. Now let's imagine that there are quite a few pages created like this. So maybe if we had a template somewhere or a template page, or someone went ahead and just did a new copy of this page, and there are a lot of pages with this setup. Yeah. Now, what happens is, everything is fine. This page is rolling up all the other pages, and then a new requirement comes in. It might say, hey, this page, which says all about warrior horses, is rolling up a lot of content. It is bringing giraffe or graph content and also Parker content. So, we need to change this, and we also need to change the layout of the results web part. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and change this particular page. So, I'll edit the web part and I'll change the query slightly. I'll just paste this query, which says, bring me all the pages that have got, the topic as the current topic. So I'll apply that, and you can see it now only has warrior host related pages. And then if I go next and then change the layout, we've got the cards layout now. Now, this has to be done in the other pages as well, basically the Parker page and even in the giraffe page, because what is Chris Kent doing in the giraffe page? He should be in the warrior horses page, right? So that's the whole point. So in order to apply this change on the other pages, I've got a few options. The first one basically is I can go ahead and edit this page and manually change the web part. I would have to do this on all the other pages which are based off this template. That would be a long task. And the second option is, if I edit this page, the PnP Search web parts team, they've given us a nice facility of exporting and importing properties, so we could use that as well. We can use some PowerShell PnP PowerShell script as well in order to update the web part on all the other pages. Now in this particular demo, we will look at another option wherein we can use SPFx extension to do that. So basically our aim is to copy the settings of this web part or copy the settings of this web part on this page onto all the other pages, which is the Parker page and the giraffe page. So what I'll do is I'll just go to my pages library and then let me just hit refresh. And I'll select the pages where the settings need to be copied. So those are the Parker page and the giraffe page. And I also have a random page created over here. I'll select that as well. And then, this new option comes up, which is copy search web part settings. And then I press that, and then it opens up a dialog, and it asks various inputs. So firstly, we have to specify our source page, i.e. the page where we made the change, and that was nothing but the warrior horses page. So just go ahead and copy that and paste it over there. And then we have to select which version of the PnP Search web part did we make the change in. So that's the search results v4. And then we get to select whether whether the web part is in vertical section or any other section. So in this case, it is in the 0th section, column number 0, and then order 0. And then similarly, in the destination pages, we've got the web part in the same position. So it is 0th column 0. 0th section 0 column, and the order is 0. This can be different based on the requirement. And then so once we are sure that this is what we want to do, I'll go ahead and press submit. And what happens is it goes ahead and does the tasks, and then it gives us these results. So firstly, it'll say what all pages have been successfully completed, and on the right side it says what all pages was this not successful. So if we look at the PnP Parker page, click on it. You can see earlier it was showing all the pages in the list format. Now it is showing in the card format. Similarly, if I go ahead and click the giraffe page, you can see only graph related articles. No more Chris Kent in the giraffe pages, so only graph pages. And then for the pages that were not successful, in this case, only one page, which is a random page. If I click on that, the reason it was not successful was, at that particular location, it had the text web part and not the PnP search results web part. So that's why it it didn't copy the settings. Right, so that was the demo. Now let's look at the code itself. So all this code is present in the GitHub repository. So what we have, I've just taken a snippet or a screenshot of the code. So we have one main component which I've called it as worker dialog. So that's the dialog which we saw pop up. And that dialog, what we do in that is, firstly, we get the source page using PnPjs, of course, based on the the input that was provided. So in this case, we take the link that was provided, and then what we do is we get the source web part based on the section, column, and the order. And then once we have the source web part, what we do is we go ahead and grab the properties of that web part. So in this case, it's the JSON web part data.properties. And then we also have to grab the dynamic data values. I think this one, this property of the web part is used only in the PnP Search web parts version 3. I haven't seen it being used in V4, or I might be wrong. But yeah, those are the two elements we need to get from the source web part. So once we've got those, there's a use effect method basically, which gets triggered because we have changed the, or rather gotten the source web part properties. What that does is it calls a method called as update destination web parts. And that one, in that method, what we do is we go through all the destination pages that have been selected, and then we go ahead and load the page and then load the destination web part based on the destination location, i.e. The section, column, and the order entered. So once we've got those details, what we do is we go ahead and set the web part data.properties and the dynamic data values for the destination web parts based on the the source web part values that we've got. And then finally, we go ahead and save the page and then push that to the successful pages array, and that's what gets displayed in the dialog as well. Right. So one thing you might notice here is that I'm using the thumbnail URL. I guess this is only in my tenant that I've seen that if I save the page, for some reason the thumbnail of the page was getting removed. So that's why before saving we just get the existing thumbnail and then set the thumbnail again to the value that we've copied. That's all. Right. So that's what the code does. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you was, this control called as animated dialog. So if I just quickly jump into the code, this is basically the dialog. So then if I just quickly jump into my tenant, so yeah, and refresh this page again. So what's happening is when I select these pages, this dialog appears. It just appears as a normal dialog. So instead of normal dialog, we can make use of this PnP SPFx control called as animated dialog. So if I just change this from dialog to animated dialog and change the end tag as well, and then just save this and then go back here, wait for this to automatically refresh. So now I don't know if you'll be able to see in the recording, but when the dialog appears, there's some animation that happens, and then when I cancel, it has a different animation. If needed, we can control the animation. So in this uses the library called as animate CSS, so we can add in the custom animations like fade in, down, fade out. Down when if I save that and wait for this to automatically refresh and then select a couple of pages, and now you can see the animation is slightly different. So it slides down, and then when I press cancel, it fades out. So yeah, that's the animated dialog control. So it's just the same as the Fluent UI dialog, but with some extra properties, and you can check the details about that in the chat. Right, then to finish off, just a few more improvements that we can add to the extension itself. We can expand the same code for other web parts. At the moment, it's only PnP Search web part, but it can be easily changed to other web parts based on the requirement. And then we can add a few more checks. At the moment, it is checking only for the web part version, but if needed, you can check for web part title as well, based on the scenario. And these are a few links that were used that are related to this extension. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks, everyone. Patrick, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Anoop. Fantastic demo, as always. Really excited to see that. And the animated dialogue is a nice little extra there as well. Very cool stuff.
Nice.
Imagining that's stuff folks can definitely have a look at and use in their projects. But it is time to move to Andre. If you're ready to go, take it away.
Thank you very much. Then let's start with the presentation. So first of all, my name is Andre Lash. I work in Switzerland in a company called DataLinks, and I'm a very normal person itself. So regarding the solution itself, so the idea here and the context is regarding an old feature that was existing, that is the ability to use the follow documents itself. The old way that that was using on the classic way, you can access, for example, you target a document, and then to follow them, you need to go to the OneDrive and to the follow area, and then you will be able to see your documents that you target that you want to follow. For me, this is not enough, and I wanted to have something better and more improved with the adaptation and introduction with on the team's point of view. And for that, I introduce, I create these two samples. One is one extension where you'll be able to define if the document you are able to follow or not able to follow, and you can make a simple track of the documents that you want to make some focus and give some type of keep a priority that you want to keep an eye on them itself. And for that, I create a sample that is an extension that you can define on each document if you want to follow or unfollow. And the second step is the ability to grab these documents and try to give some type of productivity from your side that we can use it. It can be in a SharePoint web part or even with the integration of Microsoft Teams. And my sample will be playing with these two type of solutions. So we have the component of the document management with SharePoint Online, and we have also the component management of the Teams workspace that I wanted to have it together using the out-of-the-box features like the social following REST service that this is already available, and I just try to use it in a way that can be more flexible. Also with the ability to use Microsoft Graph queries that will retrieve and make some additional features itself. This is the list of the amount of features that these two samples are able to do. It's a lot of things. So from the extension is the ability to manage to manage the follow or not follow of the document can be done singularly or multiple documents at the same time. And also the listing of the documents that I used the Microsoft Graph Toolkit file list to list all the documents itself. Just one important point. The way that out-of-the-box is stored the follow documents is a support list. So what I have done, I transformed the list that can be seen as a normal document library and to have it a flat view. The follow document web part basically will have a display area where we'll be able to see all the documents that we target to be follow, and with a bunch of different components that I'll have a better description later on, and I'll show it on the demo itself. So like, for example, the redirection to the document, to the site, to the ability to manage some properties, the ability also to unfollow the document itself, and also some previewing. I will show that in the current demo itself. So what I have done. For this, I access to my Teams, and I create a tab where I make a tab of the type web, and I make a reference to the document library itself. And as you see it here on the top, we're going to see a new, on the extensions, we're going to see a new option here. This option, basically, when we click it, will display the current documents that I already clicked to be follow itself. So I want to include for this example one additional document. I will click on my example, and I will have a new option. From there, I will be able to say, okay, this is the document, this is the name I want to follow. When the moment I follow, I open my list of options, and I have it here, my new option here. I can unfollow them, and then the content will be updated. And if I go again to the document will be also unfollow. At any moment, I can select multiple documents, and I can follow at the same time. And basically, I'll have a report of the documents that I want to follow itself. So I have one that was follow, and all these ones as a reporting I already follow. That is great. So let's go to the next step of our solution itself, that is the ability to really start to use the current amount of the follow documents. So I create using the SPFx web part and with extension to the themes. Basically, I have this custom personalized app where I'll be able to display all the documents that I tagged. At any moment, I can make a very simple search, like, for example, I want to go where I went last time to the bridge. Oh, here is the document. I can also cut it. I can also group it by the different sites that I group it, because when I follow the document, it will be all the documents that I tagged in all the tenants. And I can filter if I want to see the one from the site example or from the site home itself. At any moment, I can always return. And if I have new data, I can always refresh, and basically I will make a new query where all the new documents will pop up. So for example, and as you can see here, will be also a lot of multiple options itself. If I click on the document, basically I'll be redirected to the document. If I click on the home, I'll be redirected to the website where the document is open. So, and there we have another 5 options here. The first option is I use adaptive cards, where I'll be able to define which team and which channel I want to send a document that people can read it and they can make some comments. For example, using the adaptive card that I pre-prepared, I will say, please, or let's say, please follow up with content. And using the adaptive card, I'm also going to pre-fill the fields, and I'm going to send it. And then I'm going to, and the message was sent it. And what is going to happen is the moment I go to the posts, I have here a new message that I send it. So basically I use the adaptive card with a link to the document with some comments. And I also later on, I want to include the ability to make some specific calls to specific users. So directly from the ability of the follow card, I'm already start to give some live and also able to redirect to some key users that should take some type of actions. The second option is nothing more than open the folder where the document is stored itself. The middle one, that with the star, is the same approach that we have it for following and unfollowing. And basically I have a form that I will say unfollow. And the moment I will follow, the document will be taken out from this specific app itself. For now, right now, I will keep it. And then I will have the information, and this will give me the pop of the model dialog where I have all the metadata regarding this document. And I will come here and I say, this is an sample, and automatically it will be updated if I have the right permission associated with that. So I will close it, I will open, and every time, when I open, I will be able to see what was done, what is the metadata, and I have all the information associated. And also at any moment, I want to have the ability to have a preview of the document itself. So I use the Graph API's calls to have a preview of the document. For this case, it's a document, the document that I use it. For example, from my last hiking that I did it, okay, I went to the Swiss Alps and I went around and I was able to see, great. This is a really nice option that I have. So with the ability to make the filtering by the grouping, with the search, and also with all these different capabilities. So I did what I have to do. I have already did all my different change, and I don't want to follow the document. So I go again to my example, I unfollow them, and the document will disappear itself. So I always focus on the document that I have it on that moment, that I need it from that specific moment. And every time I don't need it, I just unfollow. The document will continue on their own, on the right position. So this was the demo, a very simple demo about these 2 samples itself. And how the code it is done. So the first thing that was done is the definition of the different graph permissions that was given itself. So this is all about reading the sites and reading the documents where are located. And also I also have to include some additional graph permissions, like reading the teams where I am associated, and also the channels where I am associated. And one last one is the ability to send, like I showed before, with the adaptive card as a template, to send that card to the channel where I send, please do some actions with this specific document itself. Saying this, what I also used was the ability to use the Graph APIs and also the out-of-the-box social following REST APIs. And basically, this is a bunch of 3 to 4 REST calls. I only used the first 3 ones. That is basically gives me the ability. The document is already following. If I want to, every time I want to follow a document, and I want to stop the following of the document itself. And they are the 3 main services that I make in the call itself. How I retrieving the following documents? Like I said it before, every user has on their own OneDrive one list that is called social. And this is how the out-of-the-box following site is managing the content of their follow document itself. What I do is using the Graph APIs, I call the site and the IDs, and I will store it for efficient process, because one thing I do is I call the documents, and every time I need to make the queries like the search and the grouping like I did it before, I use the array and I use some methods on JavaScript to be super efficient and avoid calls to the Graph API itself. So I get the site, I get the list and the list ID, and based on that, I use this query that will retrieve me the information associated with the documents that I'm following. And the key here is the item ID have to be greater than -1. And this is how we can make the filter, because this social list also stores the sites that you follow and the page that you follow. And for the documents, I use this type of query only to retrieve the ones that are associated with the documents itself. And as you can see, this is the type of query that I use it for displaying the document that I follow on the follow extensions and also on the web part itself. Now, when I call when I call the last list where I get all the follow documents, I have the main key information. Like I said, this is a list, and the list basically will store what is the icon of the document, what is the item unique ID, the list ID, the site ID, the name of the file, and the URL of the file, and all these things that I will use it for later on for the multiple sub features that I included on this sample. One of them was the ability to call the file. So for each one of them, because I don't have physically the file, what I do is I use the search capability itself of the graph, and I make some queries like where is the file is stored and what is the file name, and this will retrieve the document plus all the other meta properties associated with that. The same I do, for example, for efficiency. I try to concatenate multiple web IDs to understand from the document what is the site name, and I use the search capability from Graph using some concatenations that in one shot I will be able to get all the site IDs from the follow documents that I have it, and using the arrays I just adapt the object with the ability of the web name and the web URL, that the document will have some additional information that I'll use it for the display of the document and also the properties itself. And last one is the ability to get from the list ID some simple graph that I get the ID that I'll use it to access to the content of the follow documents itself. Very simple, very straightforward. It's all about efficiency on the queries and only retrieve the information that you really need to display on each one of the different features itself. Okay, on the functionality point of view, so like I showed it on the extension, what I do is the ability to choose on the file, and the moment I choose the file, I use the REST calls. For example, if the document I'm using and I make the call to this REST call, if I use the REST is followed, he's going to tell me if the document is already following or not. If it is not following, I retrieve he'll say false, and then means I can activate it, and this will activate the star or deactivate the star, and everything then will be reflected using the Microsoft Graph Toolkit. I pick the document, I transform it to be visible, and then I display it using the template. I create using the Microsoft Graph Toolkit. I create as a template how I want to display the information, plus some custom functionality like stopping stopping following the document that I want to have. Below, I always have a link of where are the store and where is the information that I use it for each one of the features. It's very hard for me to display everything in the code point of view. So I try to support with all these different links itself. So So on the web part itself, basically I separated in two different areas. One area is to have a grouping of the sites where are the documents located. That will be the point number one. Point number two is the ability to make the search, and the search will be based on the file name. And also the third one, basically what we're going to make is going to make a refresh or a clean refresh of the following document. If during the last time I make a search, if there was some change or some document that was updated, as soon as I make a refresh, he'll grab the latest documents that I want to follow. So again, on the document point of view, if I click on the icon, I will be redirected to the document. If I click on the home, I will be redirected to the site. If I click on the themes, basically I will send a message directly to the channel that I can follow up as a working area. If I want to know in what library it was located, I create a folder icon where you can click and open the library where it's located, and then the star when I manage if the document I want to follow or just unfollow, plus the sixth option that is the ability to see the metadata and update them if I have the permissions associated, and also the preview capability of the document that is given by the graph with the preview capability from graph itself. So a very simple visual options of the feature that is available. So I use the adaptive card template to create this area, and then I just create the support to send for which teams and which channel I want to send the documentation. The second option is to just unfollow the social service itself, the meta information, and also the preview using the graph query like display it. And as a technology point of view, this is the full overview that I wanted to provide. So how to use the SPFx list view command set, where can we create some different options, how we can use the graph to retrieve some out-of-the-box social REST service itself, how to use them, how to integrate it, how to give a new life to the following document itself, and to propagate it to be more easily integrated with a new way of working with Teams and the workspace itself. And for the web part, the ability to have, again, like I said, the Teams integration, and again, the same type of queries. Get the social list, get the preview of the document, get my teams and the channel, send the message, and retrieve the documents and the web where it's located, plus also the REST service and following the REST service associated with it. And this is pretty much the resume I wanted to make regarding this presentation.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Andre. Thank you as well, Anoop and Vardamon. Very much appreciate those fantastic demos from everybody. I think there were a few comments there in the chat if you have a second. But I wanted to thank everybody for joining our call today. Our recording will be available in about 24 hours on the YouTube channel. You can always follow us on Twitter at Microsoft 365 Dev or at M365 PnP. Our next SPFx call will be July 15th. That is in 2 weeks, the same time. And the next general dev call will be next Thursday, July 8th at the same time. So hope to see you all there. And remember, a bunch of other community calls going on. A lot of these aren't happening over the summer. We'll be back in August with a refreshed schedule, as we mentioned at the top. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, and look forward to talking soon. Bye-bye.